Hey guys, as promised, I'm doing a quick little skateboard screen printing tutorial. This is how I screen print my decks with my Rebellion logo. I just wanted to give you guys a quick look at my setup here. I got one of the Silk Skates screen printing press. What I like about this, it has adjustable wheelbase right here. You unscrew it from the bottom and it slides back and forth. And it has a pretty cool off contact, which helps you put a little bit of distance in between your screen and your print. You can either have your screens on top here, or like I have them on the side. For me, I like it on the side because, as you can tell here, my off contact, I've got it clamped and I can adjust for the size of the screens I want to use. Okay, if I put it back here where it normally is, I can only use one set of screens. And also I've got my curved squeegee and my straight squeegee. All of these are cheap DIY. You'll see them here in action in a few minutes. So I always shim this up to make sure my deck is nice and solid. It's not gonna flip-flop back and forth, okay? So I always start by, this is my logo, my Rebellion logo. So I always start by kind of measuring out and centering the transparencies, okay? Because once you have this pretty much lined up where you want it, you can line your screen up to it as well, okay? So for me, this is the first. Oof. Okay, now that's taped on there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my screen and I'm going to line it up with the transparency, okay? So you always want to build your own screens. Johnny Manic with Manic Skates has a really good tutorial on how to build, how to stretch your own screens made out of wood. The aluminum screen printing screens that you would normally buy to screen print t-shirts are the tension's a little too tight. If your logo's too big, it's really hard, even with a curved squeegee, to get the image to conform around the concave, okay? So start by making your screens out of wood. And like I said, Johnny Manic has a really good tutorial on how to make them. I make them similar, just my screens are a little oversized. I like a bigger screen. And I always shim my clamps so they don't dig into my screens. All I'm going to do is I'm going to sit here like this and I'm going to move the screen back and forth. And I'm going to line this up, line my screen up to my transparency, okay? Do one at a time. Okay, check my off contact, check my image again, wipe my screen down. Okay, so I use two different types of squeegees, right? I have a curved and a straight. Both I made Straight squeegee, all I use this for is to flood my screen. Okay, you'll notice that with a curved squeegee, since it's curved, it's really hard to coat your screens. So this is my curved squeegee. It's the ugliest thing probably you've ever seen in your life, but it works great. It's 3 little thin pieces of wood screwed together. I got a 60 durometer squeegee that I cut, screwed in there, and I took a jigsaw and cut it all the way down to the squeegee. So now it's, you can see it's really flexible. This thing right here took my screen printing on skateboards up to 100. At first I was getting a lot of blowouts and misprints and stuff like that because I wasn't able to have enough pressure as I pulled. Okay, let's keep that in mind. So next thing, I always like to kind of tape off my edge. Tell exactly where my squeegee needs to be placed, because once I flood this with ink, I can't really tell where the edge is. It's just kind of like a little guide for me. I'm just using cheap speedball ink. I only print, each deck I make one at a time, and I only print, 1 or 2, at the most 3 at a time. So, this little water-based ink is going to work perfect for me. If I was printing, 50 to 100 decks at a time, then yeah, I would have to go with a different, maybe like a solvent type ink that the pros use. But since I'm just screen printing a couple decks at a time, I don't have to luckily spend that money. And since this is water based, this washes off your screen really easy. Those solvent inks are they're kind of a pain in the ass to clean your screen with. So guys, make sure with any type of ink you stir. Get this ink really mixed up well. Okay. And mix it, 20-30 seconds. You gotta understand, a little goes a long way here. Okay. So, step number 2 for me is to remove my transfer. And print, do a test print or a couple test prints. Okay. So what this test print is going to do is make sure your image is lined up where you want it to be, right? And allow you to push some ink through your screen. Okay, it's really hard to get a good print off the first pull. So you want a good flooded screen. Okay, and you also want to make sure that you're pretty lined up. Okay, so all right, I said a little goes a long way. I got a spoonful right here. Made sure my squeegee's clean. Okay, so what I'm going to do is what we call a flood stroke. Okay, all I'm doing is dragging ink across my stencil or across my screen and loading it. Okay, remember the straight squeegee is only for this purpose. Okay, my curved squeegee is the one that actually does the printing. So even pressure, okay, Okay, even pressure on the sides and in the middle. And what I'm going to do is take one long, hard pull, okay? Okay, you can tell right here and right here, I didn't get enough ink through the squeegee, through the screen, but after I flood it, we should be good to go, okay? Remove this tape real quick. There we go. All right, here we go. Pretty clean print. And what I do now is I take this over to my little drying rack and let it dry. Okay, so now if I had another deck the same size, I would just load it and continue printing. But right now, since I'm only doing this tutorial, I'm gonna start cleaning. So make sure you guys save all your ink. Save what you can. Pick up all the big globs. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the little tutorial. Please feel free to comment any questions, man, and I'll try to answer them as best as possible. Appreciate it.